Alright fellas, now we gotta talk about Jake Paul again. So today was the first press conference for his upcoming fight against Julio César Chávez Jr. Now, once upon a time, I was kinda supportive of Jake Paul's presence in boxing. Yet, as the charade has gone on, I think he's become more of a stain on the sport than anything. We've got to the point where today we had De La Hoya describing Paul's boxing impact as admirable, whilst only moments later Jake would take shots at Chavez Jr.'s previous struggles with addiction, and just be plain rude to Senior when he was nothing but respectful back. He's not exactly what I would call admirable, Oscar. Yet not only was the press conference just all a bit sad, I think what might come after this fight could be the worst we've seen yet. But just quickly though, if you don't know, my name's Cloister and this channel is your one-stop shop for everything boxing, so make sure to subscribe and I will always keep you in the loop. Now, we've talked about this upcoming fight on the channel before, and to be honest, I didn't expect this fight to be happening so soon. I was assuming they were just going to leave this fight against Chavez for when he eventually wanted to go for a world title. Although, it seems like they have a different name in mind for that, and I will get into that later on. This fight clearly has been a result of Jake trying and failing to fight both Canelo and Tank. So he went looking for a last minute option which ended up being Chavez Jr. Now, this whole card really has been structured to take advantage of the Mexican fans' unwavering support towards their fighters. Now, they've included both Chavez and Zurdo on one card to take place in LA. Jake won't be the attraction bringing out the fans, it will be Chavez and Zurdo. So, we saw the first press conference for this event today, and really, should we be expecting Jake to act like anything but a prat? No, and in typical Jake fashion, he was exactly that. He went on about how this fight is some great challenge and it's going to challenge the boxing media's opinion on him and blah 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 blah. None of it really mattered, it was all waffle. And he seemed to have the chip on his shoulder like he's God's gift to the sport. And his class, hey, it didn't stop there. He made fun of Chavez Jr.'s past addictions with shots at that, like a real role model. He just loves going as low as you can really go. Which, credit to Chavez, he just rolled these comments off and kind of just laughed at them like they were nothing. He also mouthed off at Chavez Sr. a couple times, even funnily enough when Chavez Sr. was giving Jake his flowers. Just a bit embarrassing, isn't it? What's clear about this promotion is they've already started to try and make the public believe Chavez Jr. is back in his prime. Literally the exact same technique as we saw in the Tyson fight. We have people like Chavez Sr. saying, "I've never seen him train like this before." Now, where have we heard that before? Fundamentally, Chavez Jr. is a fighter who should have retired many years ago. His loss to Anderson Silva really should have been the last we would have seen of him, yet money talks. And a part of me, of course, hopes that's true, that he is really training hard, but I'm 90% sure it isn't. Now, Jake is young enough and skilled enough to beat a bloke who, in his last fight against Uriah Hall, seemingly had no gas past the second round. Take away the legacy of him and his family and look at the boxer he currently is, unfortunately Jake is leaps and bounds above him. With all these sorts of fights, we shouldn't be looking at the boxer he once was. Yes, he was once a champ, but what is he now? Let's look at the boxer he is now. And I assume Jake will quite easily get through Chavez Jr. Of course, we're all going to hope the opposite, but let's be real. Chavez Jr. just doesn't have the best chance. Now, what was hinted for what's next for Paul might just put the cherry on top to show the fractured and quite honestly sad state of the sport. I think what might be the less sad option, which I reckon will be their first option, is to fight Tank Davis. The rumours of this fight over the last couple days have really started picking back up again, with rumours of an exhibition fight swirling for November, probably on Netflix, as long as the two get through their next bouts. And with Tank rumoured to be having his rematch against Roach in August, it kinda makes perfect sense. Jake also confirmed at the press conference that they're working behind the scenes to make this fight happen. With this being a rumoured exhibition, to be honest, I don't really care about this possibility. These sorts of events are meant to be a circus. There'd be a huge press conference, probably fake beef, and it would all end up with probably a very mediocre fight. Even as not the biggest fan of these sorts of events, it would be an entertaining promotion. Nobody can kinda disagree with that. But it would end up being a fight very similar to what we saw with Logan versus Floyd. The more disappointing possibility comes if the Tank fight doesn't end up being next. Now, it's no secret that Jake Paul is after a world title. We have had presidents of belt organizations in the past talk about how they would love to make this happen. It's just not out of the realms of possibility. And it's probably gonna happen at some point in the near future. Now, what was hinted at in the press conference is potentially Jake Paul versus Zurdo Ramirez. I think Zurdo has been put on this card for a reason, a backup fighter for Jake's potential future plans. Both Golden Boy and Jake's promotion have tweeted posts from this press conference talking about a future matchup. And honestly, I hate to see it. The boxing world, rightly, over the last week has kinda cracked it with the news of Pacquiao coming back and being ranked at number 5 in the WBC after years of inactivity to challenge for the belt in one of the most competitive divisions currently in the sport. Now, imagine if the WBO or WBA ranked Jake Paul high enough in the cruiserweight division to justify him fighting for a world title. Now, with officials already saying in the past they wouldn't mind to sanction him for a world title, what would be stopping them from doing this? What Zurdo should be doing instead of messing around on a Jake Paul undercard is facing the boogeyman of the division in Jai Opetaia, yet there's been huge problems with making this fight happen apparently. This is the fight to make within the cruiserweight division. A fight which would make the cruiserweight division great again, yet what are we talking about instead? Jake Paul fighting for these belts. It's just a sad reality, isn't it? All we can hope is Turkey comes out of nowhere and makes the right fight happen. And with Turkey's dislike of Paul being quite clear, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Turkey does make the fight happen and undercuts Jake Paul. I still don't really get though why Jake is enamored with wanting to become this boxing great. The people don't want to see that. It's the same with KSI, like no one wants to see KSI versus some C tier name. All the people want is Paul versus KSI. Whack it in Wembley and just make it happen. But no, apparently 2.5 pounds is enough of a weight difference to make the fight impossible. Yet it's a bit of an unfortunate reality that at some point in the future Jake Paul will fight for a genuine world title. I suppose if it's a bridgerweight belt you can make some sort of an argument that he does have the credentials to fight for it. Like in your spare time, go look at the rankings there, it's nothing special. But anything else is just a bit of a sad reflection of the sport. Where instead of young hungry boxers who have worked their whole life for a shot at the belt getting their chance, we have a bloke whose image is granting him the right to fight for one. And to kind of wrap up this talk about opportunities, he talked in the press conference about Chavez Jr being raised with a silver spoon and was gifted his right in boxing. Yet I think Jake should look in the mirror before making statements like that, and realise he's been granted some of the most privileged opportunities the sport has ever seen. And his Chavez Sr has been the stars who have agreed to share the ring with him and help him build up his profile to where it currently is. Because without them, who knows where he would have been. Now, I want to hear your thoughts at home. What are your thoughts on the Chavez Jr fight, as well as your thoughts on Paul eventually, potentially fighting for a world title? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does a ton to help the channel. Yet, thanks for watching fellas, and I'll catch you in the next one.